is now a challenge. Nahihiya ako. I am ashamed, but I have to do this. You could issue statements on boarding issues affecting the people against human rights abuses brought about by the governments of Lanbayanihan. That's militarization, counterinsurgency program of the government, copied verbatim from the American counterinsurgency paper. You can sponsor symposium, forum, conferences, table discussions in the academy, church people, media groups. I was happy to meet the Radyo Dalisay, and in Perth, they have the Tunog Pinoy, and youth groups among Filipino communities in Australia. Because you will not hear this kind of talk on television or news from the Filipino channel. Or you can adapt and organize peasant community in the Philippines to support the communal efforts for increased agricultural production, parang communal garden, vegetable garden for food security and livelihood projects. Or you can adapt an RMP literacy numeracy school. Or you can form advocacy and solidarity groups in support of the Filipino struggle for justice, peace, and liberation. And may I invite you for exposure. If you are going for a vacation in the Philippines, we can help facilitate your visit to the areas where RMP is working. Ito na ang actual. Sa Southern Mindanao, there are existing 20 elementary schools, 73. Out of the 73, 59 dyan ang kay Father Pops. But in other areas, some of the congregations of sisters, the Assumption, the RGS, ano pang ibang po, MSN, also have literacy numeracy schools. But they are targeting 300 elementary and 30 high school up there in the countryside. And to adopt a student costs 6,000 pesos a year. Maliit lang. You can divide that. How?
100.
No, 100. $150.
And then a class composed of 30 to 35 children, 200,000 a year. To build a classroom that is not using the galvanized iron, but kugon, will cost 400,000. But I was talking to an engineer and an architect. If we will use the galvanized iron for roof, including a toilet, will cost 600,000. And for school supplies, 79,000 pesos. Now in Eastern Visayas, the organized groups, the organized communities were asking me also, Sister Wilhan, we would need a rice mill and corn mill, because it's very expensive if they have palay ready for milling. One sack, the transportation of the habal-habal or the motorcycle is very expensive, 300 pesos per sack. Mahal, masyadong mahal. So
you want the rice mill in the locality?
Yeah, in the locality.
So that
They need a stationary, or it could be mobile, because
Yes,
I have
mobile.
seen one. I have seen one in when I was assigned in Camiguin. The jeepney, instead na passenger jeepney siya, the machine was installed inside the jeepney, and it can travel from one barangay to another for as rice milling.
How much is that?
Nag-google ako before I came in, nag-google search ako doon sa Manila. Ang isang rice mill costs 500,000 pesos. Pero dikono na yan.
Yeah.
Dikono. Malaki ang I forgot the...
That includes the jeep.
Hindi pa.
No, it's only
Yes,
just the
hindi pa.
That's just
No.
Yes, the mill.
Just the-
$10,000 US dollars.
So yun lang. Another one, yung sa sa
So
Soksarjan.
has the production normalized since the typhoon? The
Yes.
rice production?
I can tell you it has normalized. because they were immediately they cut the coconut trees and the other trees that fell into the rice field using the chainsaw, and then kinuha nila kaagad ang silt from the river. Search.
Next.
In Sargent, where the Tampakan or the SMA Extrata mining company is, they also would like to, or they have the program Save Our Schools. As I have said, Save Our Schools means that since the military is using the school as their camp, military camp, we the RMP are calling, we have been campaigning that the military it's not a military camp. The children are displaced. They cannot go to school anymore. So we have been doing that. And they also plan to put up a Juvie Capion Center by Juvie Capion. I forgot to tell you about this, I think a while ago. Juvie is the mother of 2 kids. Her husband, Dagil, is an indigenous leader defending their rights, ancestral domain, and also against Tampakan, against the Extrata mining company. So he was being pursued by the military. So instead of killing Dagil because he couldn't be found, he was hiding, the wife of Dagil, Chubi, and the kids were killed. They were massacred. So they want to, in her memory, the memory of the Capion, they want to put up Chubi Capion Center in Tampakan. And also they plan to put up four nomad schools in Bungman, which is a mining affected area. So yun lang, I think that's all for RMP National Office. We have been renting for more than 4 decades. And our rent is
Coming up.
10,000 a month. Hala, 44 years na RMP, palagi lang kami nag-renta po. Why can't we have our own office? But that is our problem, counterance funds. And the service vehicle for travel to the regions.
These areas that are affected by the mining activities, are they negatively impacted, these communities?
Yes. I forgot to tell you that the bishops, have I told you that 20 bishops from Mindanao wrote a letter to President Aquino last month, April. It was the one who led that is the newly appointed Cardinal Orlando Quevedo, and in Coronadal, with all the 20 archbishops and bishops of Mindanao. I think I will read.
Sister, I have a
This is not the first time that the bishops came up. Actually, the bishops, the date they wrote this letter was still March, at the middle of March, but it came out at the CBCP Monitor already last month, April, and it was Philippine Star who carried this in one of the dailies there in the Philippines. I will just read the reasons why the bishops, the 20 bishops from Mindanao, oppose Extrata, SMI, Sagittarius Mines, Extrata Mining Company, is based on moral grounds. Number one reason, according to them, the destruction of 4,000 hectares of forested and agricultural land and biodiversity is against the integrity of God's creation. Very short lang ang letter nila. Number two, the dislocation of 6,000 dwellers, mostly the Bilaan and Manobot tribes, from their ancestral land is against human rights. Third, the threat to food security and human life through the use of cyanide and heavy metals for processing the gold and copper ore. And lastly, past killings and future violence as the Bilaan will defend their ancestral land. They call that their defense is pangayaw, as a source, because their land is a source of their food, building materials, and their sacred burial grounds of their ancestors. So up to now, SMI Extrata has not given any proof that open pit mining preserves the integrity of God's creation. And towards the end, they said, President Aquino, may God enlighten you in your decision. Signed by 20 archbishops and bishops from Mindanao. Itong mga pangalan nila, ang leader ay si Orlando Cardinal Quevedo, Dinualdo Gutierrez, Archbishop Romulo Valles of Davao, Antonio Ledesma, a Jesuit from Cagayan de Oro, Jesus Luzado Busamis, Guillermo Afable Dicos, Patricio Alamati, Emmanuel Cabahar of Pagadian, Jose Cabanda ng Balay, Romulo de la Cruz of Kidapawan, Edwin de la Peña Marawi, Irenito Galindo of Iligan, Martin Humawad of Basilan, and Angelito Lampon of Holo. Also si Fernando Capalla, si Mangira ng Dipolog, Wilfredo Manlapas at Tagong, at si Maraptandag, Juan de Dios Pueblos. Itong Juan de Dios Pueblos about to pro-mining yan.
Is he the SUV bishop?
Yeah, the SUV bishop. That's true. Because we visited this bishop's house in Butuan because he doesn't like the MSM sisters because the MSM sisters are active.
SUV. What's SUV?
SUV was the luxurious car that Gloria Macapagal Arroyo gave to these bishops who were pro-mining. Juan de Dios Pueblos is among them. In fact, in his house, actually this in some dioceses it is called residential bishop's residence, but his house is called Palacio. And before you can enter his palace, may mga mga camera?
Security camera.
Security cameras, and then there are 2 military men in civilian attire who will question you what is your purpose in visiting the bishop. And you have to log in that notebook, in that book. See? And every time nag-birthday si bishop, that time when Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was the president, Gloria Macapagal always goes to Juan de Dios Pueblos.
Ano na pangalan?
Di Diyos pa, di Diyos. Bishop Tonel Apipil, Bishop Jose Colin Bagafor of Davao, and Bishop Rimando, George Rimando. Those are the signatories of this one. I gave a copy of this statement of the bishops to when I was interviewed in Tunog Pinoy in Perth, and also here in is BC. Is SBS. And also Dalisay. Kanina. Radyo Dalisay. And also we went to Caritas. Was it Caritas?
Yes. And
we
the
also,
Australian Catholic Social Justice Council.
we gave this so
together.
that they will also share this to the bishops here in Australia.
But also to the Foreign Affairs Minister and
Yeah, from here, from Sydney, Peter and I will go to Canberra. I will talk to your politicians here.
Great. That's good.
But the Sisters of Mercy were telling me, we will cross our fingers, sister. What?
Pray for your sister.
Towards the end, the Carabao is saying that the RMP's journey continued solidarity with the peasants and the quest for land, justice, and freedom, and genuine agrarian reform is still the answer. Since we are an agricultural country, and majority of the population are still the farmers, I believe that we can only experience genuine development in the Philippines if genuine agrarian reform will be implemented. That's all. Good evening. Thank you. And if there are any questions, I am ready to answer.
Well done.